Welcome to the Vini Curiosity October preview video. Vini Curiosity case, 6 bottles of wine, 4 red, 2 white, same as usual this one. No crazy Lambruscos, absolutely straight. And the wine's going to be sent out to you on the 21st. So if you'd like to add anything to this 6 bottle case, please get it to me before the Sunday the 20th. Warehouse is a tiny bit frantic at this time of year because Matt, who's our warehouse manager who works with us, also makes his own wine and he's picking and processing fruit at this time of year. So it's a tiny bit frantic. Anyway, to get on to the wines. The tasting will be on the 24th, and that's Thursday the 24th. The Piemonte case tasting will be on Wednesday the 23rd. Now, this is the last Piemonte case in this format. We're just rejigging the format a tiny bit, well, a lot actually. But this will be the last tasting we're running. It's a really magnificent Piemonte case that is going out. If you are interested in getting the tasting kit sent to you and doing a Wednesday and a Thursday with me, then do go online and buy one. Have a quick look at the preview for the Piemonte case, which I'll put up in a few minutes. And you'll, just see if it appeals to you. It's magnificent, you know, there's 6 bottles of Nebbiolo to die for. Oh, what's not to love? Anyway, the wines for this month's Vini Curiosity case. They're really interesting. So the 2 whites, Vicentini Exemplum. I haven't bought this wine before ever. It's a brand new wine. We have bought from Vicentini before, never bought this wine. 2021 vintage. It's 100% Trebbiano di Soave. Trebbiano di Soave, what is that? Trebbiano di Soave is it's the other active element in Soave, really. It's Garganega mainly, 85%. Soave must be mainly Garganega. Usually people add as the second grape Trebbiano di Soave. Some people add Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc, or you can tell when they've done it. When there's Sauvignon Blanc in there, it's so obvious, it just destroys the nose of the Garganega. Trebbiano di Soave doesn't. It adds a little bit of richness, and when it gets fully ripe, it can do something truly, truly special. And 2021 gave you that. One of its other names is Trebbiano di Lugana. Another name is Verdicchio. So it's a grape with at least 3 names, but the quality of the wine is excellent because it isn't authorized by Soave to be a major player in the blend. This wine has to be declassified to IGT Veneto, but it is super lovely. It's made in a pretty classic way. It's all steel. It's got no barrel age on it at all. Lovely, rich mouthfeel of wine. It's quite exciting. Yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. Then we go to 2 wines from Zeni. The white wine we're buying from him is the Schwarzhof, which just means black house. Gewurztraminer. Now, town of Tramin is in the Trento. Gewurztraminer, arguably, could come from Italy. Arguably, I think I'm pushing it there a little bit. It doesn't really. But it grows extremely well here. And up here, you're above the Rotaliano plain. And the Rotaliano is where the second of the Zeni wines comes from. So the other wine we're doing is a Teroldego, which is called Teroldego di Rotaliano. And if you go above the plain, so we were here earlier this year, and it's magnificent. You know, you're on slab-sided cliffs at hundreds of meters high on the east. Is the east coast? Yeah, it is. No, it's the western hills. On the eastern hill where these wines are grown, it's possible to actually put some grapes. You've got some soil here, but very, very steep slopes. And on these slopes, they plant Nosiola, Gewurztraminer, Mulotogau, some Chardonnay, some Pinot Noir actually for making the Trento DOC. Really, really fine vineyard. And here the Schwarzhof style is more hands-off, more natural winemaking, but super, super clean. The Zeni style is not to leave any bits, it's to give you wine which You wouldn't know it's natural wine if you weren't told. So, you know, it really does do an excellent job. So freshness, spice, richness, warmth, great, great, great wines. Then we have, wine number 3. We've got Emilio Bulfon's Fumo Rosso, made from a grape called Fumo. And Fumo is something totally different. So there's a tiny quantity made. There's only 1,400 bottles made. They've only got a few vines, really. And it was probably named after the smoky character of the wine. First vintage we bought tasted kind of like an appassimento and was really low in alcohol. As the vines have got older, they've really developed richness and power. And this is easily the most exciting version we've had come in. It's also quite a lot more expensive than the earlier versions were, but worth it. Astonishingly good wine. We haven't got much of it. This was mainly brought in for you guys at the wine club. And I know we did one of the earliest vintages for a wine club wine as well. And for those of you who can remember that, the comparison, the difference is just massive. It's fantastic wine. Anyway, it's Bulfon is very best, bringing back grapes that everyone's forgotten about. Nobody else is making a Fumat. If you want to taste something that nobody has any clue about, just make sure you're in on the wine club tasting. Or this case, this is the kind of stuff which, well, they're all, to be honest, super exciting. But this is tasting great. Then we go to Colognole's Collezione. Now we've again, it's another wine. We've done a Collezione before once, a long time ago, and usually the Collezione wines are used as kind of laboratory to show off, or just to look at how good a vineyard can actually be. It's quite an experimental wine, but the 2019 wine was anything but that. Stuff was going wrong. Up in Firenze, or up in Rufina, sorry, the climate's a bit different, and they were hit by all sorts of stuff in 2019, and they were just super worried. They didn't have the wine they wanted to make a good annata or to make a riserva. They did make some Sinopie, which is the really basic Sangiovese, but the rest of the grapes, they weren't entirely happy. So they decided to just fill one barrel. So Cesare decided to fill one barrel to make a decent Chianti Rufina, and they labeled it as Collezione. So there were just 3,000 bottles made. That is their total production of proper 2019 wines. And it's astonishing. You know, it's the result of a really difficult vintage producing such an elegant wine, but such a small quantity. And I was super happy to get my hands on some of this, because Rufina, high altitude Sangiovese, it doesn't give you the heart and the real base that you get from Brunello di Montalcino, but it just gives you such fineness. You know, this is, for me, the closest you get to Nebbiolo, to Pinoeschi, really elegant characters in the Chianti district. And they've done a super fine job. It's great wine. Then we go to Cala Bionda's Malavoglia. I didn't want to do it. This is a Ripasso. Truthfully, I'm not the most massive fan of Ripasso, but if you're going to drink Ripasso, this is amongst the best that you can drink. Alessandro decided to go with his grandfather's recipe. He doesn't really like it that much either. And just make the best one he possibly could. And he's done it really well. So it sits, the wine, the Valpolicella from the fresh vintage, sits, the repassing part, it sits on the skins of the top Amarone, and it sits on the skins of the Recioto. So it sits on the skins of the Teroldego, and of the Ravasol. So it's getting the very best high sugar content of skins. You don't have to add any more sugars to the wine to get it restarted. There's nothing artificial about this wine. Yes, it is borrowing the excellence of two of his finest wines, but it's not adding anything extra. It's a beautifully put together wine. Highly recommended. If you want to try Ripasso, which just doesn't taste sweet, gooey and chemically like so many of them do, just tastes super right, super pure. Great, great, great wine. Then the last of the reds that we're doing, as I said, we're returning to Roberto Zeni. Well, Roberto Zeni is, Roberto and Andrea are the founded the business. And really Rudy's doing most of the management now and working with his dad and his uncle. And the Pini's really interesting, because Pini, they wanted to create a Teroldego which would age, which had more power, more, just be a more impressive wine. So Teroldego in itself is usually fresh, medium to full bodied. It's kind of like a Merlot, but in softness and richness of fruit, but a little bit more to it. It's a really interesting grape. But to lift it to another level, to give you something which is going to really last, what do you do? So they decided to dry a portion of the grapes. They started the fermentation in open barrels, did some really, really interesting winemaking styles. But that produced big, heavy wines, and this style has evolved. So as you've got to this newer vintage, because we're now on, what is it, the 19. By the time they got to 19, actually it's a fairly low alcohol wine. It's 12.5%. They've got some dried grapes in it, but not too many. It's no longer being fermented in open barrels. It's now being fermented in steel. The character of the wine now is to just take Teroldego and just give it nuance of power, or just give it a leanings of power, rather than trying to make it into a big wine. Just give it a little bit of a tweak, not take it out of character. And this is easily my favourite one they've produced. It's absolutely excellent wine. We've given it to you years and years and years ago in the Vini Curiosity case, but the whole style of the wine's changed since then. Bryce has as well. And it's astonishing. Hope you super enjoy it. It's a great, great, great wine. So just to recap, wines you know about. Tasting is coming up on the 6th of November. If you don't have a ticket for Smith Square in Westminster, do go online and grab one. If you're a wine club member, it's free. So just reserve your spot, please. If you're not a wine club member, buy one. They're 25 quid if you get them in advance, 30 on the door if there are any tickets left. It's going super fast, so hopefully there won't be any tickets left. Last of all, if you want to come in on the Piemonte case, do get in early, because as soon as the bottles are filled from the tasting measures, we'll put a close on this. It's too expensive, if you like, to suddenly to add one more place. So I do limit the number of people who can come in on this tasting, I'm afraid, just so the numbers add up. So again, do come in and do that. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you all on Thursday the 24th. If you're not a member and you want to just come and have a look, see whether it's worth joining the wine club, just enjoy the crack, send me an email and I can send you an invite. Okay, look forward to seeing you. All the best. Bye.